Hey everybody, this is Tito Bort again here with another SDR Superstar series, and I am really excited today because I'm going to introduce you guys to somebody who was initially an SDR for a long time, has now become an AE, and through that transition, he's been able to be super successful in his AE role, mostly because of all his great work being an SDR and how he's leveraged that now to build himself a lot of pipeline. It's going to be a super fun conversation. So let's welcome Taylor Linton from HitachiVentara. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Of course. We were chatting a little bit about this recording, and you impressed me with a bunch of really cool things that you do. So before we dive deeper into that, what I want to do for the audience is start just giving a little bit of context, right? Because I believe strongly that a company that might be selling a 20K product and their SDRs, they work very differently from somebody selling a 100K product or a 500K product a year, right? So why don't we start, Taylor, for like 3 to 5 minutes, with a little bit of context. Tell us, what does your company do?
Yeah, so I work for HitachiVentara, which is the big data IoT cloud division of Hitachi. And I specifically represent Pentaho, which is our big data platform. So companies that have structured data or possibly semi-structured or unstructured data, they want to bring it in for analysis, but it can be extremely complex when they're building data sets. It traditionally requires a lot of coding, which is manual and expensive. And the Pentaho platform helps them build these data sets a lot faster and easier, more efficiently overall.
Okay, perfect. And then seems like big projects. So like average deal size, are you in the 10 to 30K, 30 to 100K, or 100K to half a million, or more than half a million? Like what type of SDR work is required here?
Yeah, so it can be as low as $250,000 and it can go up to a few $1,000,000. So it's an enterprise platform, it's expensive. And in order to be effective and get these projects cooking, it's important to get in front of VP and C level and communicate the value to them. So that's traditionally been our focus when prospecting into enterprise accounts.
Okay, excellent. So for everybody who's listening in, right, today we're going to learn about how to go through the very, high average deal size, VP, C-level executives, and how we get meetings with them. Tell us a little bit more about your work. Like, do you get inbound leads, or are you mostly just getting outbound leads? Do you source all of those yourself?
Yeah, so it's all outbounding and I do source them myself. And that's, like you mentioned earlier, that's why it's been really crucial, my experience as an SDR, because right now although I need to find deals and progress and close them, the big focus is I got to build my own pipeline. So I still feel like an SDR today.
Right. And what I love about your specific role at the moment is that you obviously don't get a comp for the meeting being set or anything like that. You're being comped on closing deals. Like, you need the revenue for you to get your commissions. So you're incentivized to book yourself the highest quality meeting possible. So yeah, we'll look at your strategy. I'm excited to dissect it. Another thing you mentioned is, last year, it was your first year as an AE, and you were ranked as one of the top ones, even though it was your first year. And now you're also a top rep, way over quota, like really killing it. So, yeah, what's the secret to your success? What do you think sets you apart?
I would say just the mentality. It's going out there and knowing I'm trying to get meetings with these large enterprise companies with VP and C level, and they don't want to hear about my product. They don't want to hear about my company. They want to hear about their world. What are the problems in their company? What are the problems that their competitors are experiencing? Overall, what challenges can they anticipate to their most crucial business projects? And having that mindset, whether it's setting the meeting and not wasting their time and knowing how to go straight to communicating the value, or even progressing these deals as I'm meeting with these VP and C level, that everything needs to be about them. They're not here to hear about me. They want to learn about themselves and how to be better.
Awesome. So when it comes to like setting yourself meetings, like what's your let's talk first a little bit about like the rest of the structure. So your average deal size is super high at a minimum 250K.
Hmm.
How many accounts are you going after at any given point? Like, do you have like 500 accounts or 300 accounts or 50 accounts?
Yeah, so I traditionally started out in a pursuit role with a larger patch. Right now, I'm focusing on about 20 to 25 companies, so I have to be very laser focused, intimate with my messaging and outreach, and it takes a good balance between quality and quantity, but mostly where's that perfect balance between reaching out to a ton of folks, but still making them think that I'm intimately thinking of them and a challenge that they're experiencing. And I'll be able to show that in a few of my emails on how I'm getting these meetings and making them think I specifically wrote it to them, when in reality, I sent it to a few different folks in their company.
Okay, yeah. So you have 25 accounts or so. How many different people at any given company do you reach out to? Like, is it 2 or 5 or 10 or 20?
50. So
50. Wow.
we talked
Okay.
about the CTO in their organization, the chief data officer, chief digital officer in their organization, the chief information officer, and then we can also hit lines of business like chief marketing officers, et cetera, because of course they're trying to bring in a ton of customer data for their analysis and marketing purposes. But that's where I might cast a wide net for about 30 or 40 of that 50, and then I'm laser focused with 10 of them and really going deep and researching them. And that's for those VPs and C levels that are the important ones to get the meetings with.
Okay. So give me some examples here. You were mentioning a little bit about like being laser focused. Would you mind sharing an example? It seems like you do a lot of research and you really go in depth here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll share my screen right now. I have an email that I had in mind. Can you see it?
Yeah, we got it.
Great. So, I mean, when I'm researching a company, I'm not necessarily sitting there for 2-3 hours and just like sitting on my laptop. It's learning how to quickly and efficiently search the internet to find a relevant article or scrape through their annual report and control F important keywords that you can uncover for initiatives that the CEO is referring to, or possibly a quarterly investor presentation. In this example, I reached out to a very large insurance firm. It was to the VP of Strategic Execution. I actually sent this to about 7 to 10 people. And subject line, big data aspirations. I'm saying that I was pointed in their direction as the relevant point in contact to speak to data strategy at their company. And then I found something about their company that was interesting, and it involved an area that we can contribute value to. In their quarterly investor presentation, the CEO talked about how they're trying to leverage big data for their actuarial analysis. They're trying to get even better. What all data sources can we bring in to serve our customers better and have the right models built? So reading that, I immediately thought, wow, I mean, this is innovative, and it's going to be extremely manual for them to harness value from this data unless they have the right technologies in place. So I structured this email referring to that article, and then I asked for a meeting to see if we can help contribute value to this initiative. I did end up securing a meeting from this.
Okay, so let's take a step back. This is a really cool email. I mean, it's short and to the point. What is interesting is you said you send this to like 7 to 10 people. Yet it says I was pointing in your direction. So you're just gambling there. Actually, it's not necessarily true.
I'm a gambler.
Okay, you're a gambler. I like that. Okay,
I'm a gambling man.
You're pointing in the direction of any of these 7 people. Do you send this email like in the same week though? Like what? Isn't it dangerous if somebody else forwards it to some third person and then you see that you're doing this?
Yeah, I mean it's dangerous, and a couple times it's came back to bite, not in a negative way, but just more of like, hey, who pointed you in my direction? And then I'm kind of stumbling here, like, not sure what to say here. I haven't encountered a time when someone forwarded it to someone else and then they responded and was like, you're saying you were referred to me, yet a couple of coworkers forwarded me this email as well. So once again, it's just finding that balance between quality and quantity. How do I make it look like a really intimate email, but also send it to people that I feel confident we can contribute value to?
Excellent. Okay, great. And then this email does say, I also read about the innovation coming out of X in the Q2 2017 investor presentation. So like, can you run me through how you found that thing? Because like, are you like going to every one of your accounts and Googling investor presentation, or what do you Google? How do you bump into these things?
Okay. Do you mind if I just show you an example right now through the internet?
Let's do it.
Okay. Now I'm going to have to share it. You can't see my Google screen. Is it still stuck on the Word doc?
I'm on Word, yeah. So you might need to stop sharing and reshare.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, can you see it now?
I got it.
Great. So this is something that I recently did. I might sit down, it might be in my evenings. I'm watching How I Met Your Mother or The Office or something like that, and I'll search the company name and some keywords. And I'm trying to find articles on the internet that include my company that I'm targeting and also keywords. So in this situation, as you can see, I've done this search before because I use this for outreach. But I type in AllianceBernstein, which is one of my accounts. I type in big data, and now it's going to pump out all of these articles, including job postings, which I think are one of the best sources for information while reaching out. But in this situation, if we pull up this article, we find out in June 28th of 2019, the COO of AllianceBernstein wrote an article about how they're leveraging big data for better investment decisions. And then they provide a couple case studies, one of them with airline capacity utilization, and then the other one with scraping natural language processing in car reviews for Subaru to see what people are providing reviews on the Subaru cars to see if they thought it would be a good investment in the brand and how people felt about it. They ended up finding out it wasn't a good investment decision because of the leveraging natural language processing.
Wow. And then
so,
how did you know this was the COO or whatever? When you bump into this article, like obviously you've been to this one before, okay, you found it down there, but if you were just clicking on this article, would you start reading from the top down, or how do you know this is like super relevant or not so relevant?
I start control Fing. So the word that I control F, if I'm spinning through these articles quickly, I'm looking, okay, everywhere it says big data. Why is big data so important? Okay, case study, big data study airline capacity. So all of a sudden I'm like, wow, so they're providing examples now how they're using big data and mining it for their for making decisions in the airline industry. So like you recommended, or what you just suggested, it's like you got to be quick, and I will keyword search and quickly skim through until I realize, okay, this is a recent article. It was June 28th, but also it's giving specific examples I can point to in an email.
Right. So let's go back to that email you wrote, because I want to see how this comes together.
Okay.
Yep. So now what you would do is your email might say big data aspirations. You can keep the same subject line. You can still gamble with the arrows pointing your direction. And you might have say, and I've also read about the airline case study out in your article written by your COO, blah, 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 including the initiative of big data. So you just need to replace that one long sentence.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then you can actually leverage this template across different campaigns. So question for you here, is this like a manual step on your email sequence where you will keep the majority the same and you just go and replace that one sentence, or do you start these from scratch? Do you have templates? What's your workflow?
Yeah, so we use outreach in my company. I like there's a statistic that I heard, I can't even remember it, but you have a much greater chance of securing a meeting if your customer reference or use case is specific to their industry. So I go one step further, since I only have 20, 25 accounts, and I build email campaigns specific to that company. So in outreach, I might sit there for 20 minutes, real quick, skim through Google, find all these relevant articles I might be able to refer to, and I'll sit down and make an email campaign specific to a company. In this situation, AllianceBernstein, it might be 5 auto emails with a phone call follow-up, and spread out across, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. And that's how I'm now automating my emails. It's extremely laser focused for people that I don't need to write a custom email to every time I want to reach out. And now I can, hit a lot of people from that company. It's that balance, quantity versus quality. And I feel like I found that perfect balance for the type of sales role I'm in.
That's awesome. So you don't necessarily customize to the person. You don't say, I see you are the chief digital officer, or I see you used to work at Microsoft, because that changes from person to person. But if you research only company oriented data, you can create a sequence for the company, and then that will be a big asset for all your prospects for that account.
Exactly. And let's say I send it out to 50 different people, and pretty more likely than not, I will get a good meeting with someone if I'm reaching out to 50 people by my 3rd email. And the beauty in that is that I keep C-level out of it. Sometimes I put VP in it, but as I'm taking my first meeting in that company, I'm leveraging that to either identify a problem or to insert ourselves for an opportunity. But even if no opportunity is identified, I've just gained a ton of inside information, their lingo, their projects, different teams. And the goal is to either get pointed to someone specifically to secure another meeting, or if not, I just got more ammo for future emails there to talk about a big AWS migration. And now that I know that, and I can reach out and use that in my emails to secure more meetings. Hey, I'm aware of the AWS migration in this team. I would imagine you're building a new data architecture to support, this upcoming IoT project that I found in this article. I would love to catch up with you, brief you on how we're seeing your competitors in your industry move to AWS and build architectures to support data needs similar to this. Right. That's something off the top of my head, but that's the beauty of it. As I'm learning more and taking meetings, even if I'm not finding opportunities, I'm getting more ammo to secure the whale of a meeting with the VP or C-level, because now I know about their business.
So it seems like your whole strategy just goes around collecting really smart information about the company, and then throwing that information to people initially, more on the low level, see what sticks, leverage even more information, and then climb yourself up to the top. Do you leverage LinkedIn? Do you ever send messages on LinkedIn, or do you just? I know you mentioned LinkedIn Sales Navigator as a tool. Do you only use that for account mapping and research and see who's the who of the company, or do you send messages on LinkedIn or send comment on articles or whatever else?
Yeah. So when the VP and C-level are people that I will always connect with on LinkedIn, and let's say I send them a request, I don't include anything. Hi, I'm with HitachiVentara. I just send over a blank request, or say, hey, I'd love to follow you. We work in a similar industry. Let's connect. Once they accept it, I immediately follow up with an email, and I'll say, hey, thanks for connecting on LinkedIn. And then I'll respond to my recent thread and say, I'm specifically reaching out to you because. And once again, I have a full email. This Word doc has many pages of emails that I've secured, and I can point to them, but I think we could possibly post a couple of those in the text for this.
Yeah,
meeting.
For sure. And the LinkedIn post I'm going to take screenshots and put them down there. I see you've already hidden the parts that we shouldn't share, so that's perfect. Another thing that I really liked about your approach is how direct you are to like making cold calls, right? So I teach people how to make cold
Mm-hmm.
calls and have a quick conversation and then try to secure a meeting. But we were talking a little bit about Alliance Bernstein. Like, do you wanna maybe role play a little bit how you would start that call? Because I found your approach to be very different, I would say, like,
Yeah.
uncommon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if
I
you're
would,
ready, I
I
could
would
just
like to.
pretend, I don't know, who am I, the COO? Who do you want me to be?
Sure. I mean, we could do COO or VP of IT, VP of technology,
Okay,
any of
cool.
those work. I just want to show you, how I might combine and bring this all full circle is I know that they have these big data projects for making investment decisions, which excites me because anything complex and innovative is going to be very manual unless they have the right technology in place. And that's where I will double up two different resources when I'm reaching out to VP or C level. And right here, you can see a data scientist. A data scientist is clearly involved in this project. Before I call the COO, I'm going to real quick look what types of tools they want and I guess technologies they want them to be familiar with. Give me a moment right here.
Yeah, qualifications.
So right here, they want R, MATLAB, Python, statistical modeling. And I know a different one when I actually secured this meeting, they were referring to quite a bit of databases, whether it's Hadoop, NoSQL. And immediately when I'm hearing many different databases and I'm hearing code and I'm reading coding, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to have to pull a ton of data throughout their business to build these data sets. And they didn't mention our tool or any of my competitors' tools in the job posting. And now that's how I realized, okay, big data projects, but they also have job postings referring to a very complex data environment, and they don't mention any of the tools that they might offer that person to be able to do it more efficiently. So that's how I'm going to come in with ammo as I'm calling you the COO to feel confident. They have to have a bottleneck going on in their data pipeline. And I'm going to call, very confidently and come out hot when I talk to you since you are at a high level and I don't want to waste your time.
Okay, so let's try that. I'm gonna be whatever. I'm gonna be John, the head of IT or whatever name.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're dialing and I pick up the phone and say, "Hello, this is John."
Hey, John, I'm reaching out because I read an article your COO wrote about leveraging big data for better investment decisions. But when I read the data scientist job posting under your group, I didn't see you had the right technologies in place to be able to harness this value efficiently. I have a feeling based off of how we're seeing in other companies, is it taking a ton of time? Is there a big bottleneck to support this initiative?
And boom, right? Like that's so impressive, right? Usually when I talk to people, or like the usual way of cold calling is like, "Hi, John, this is Taylor Linton. I'm calling from
Mm-hmm.
XYZ. Hey, do you have a moment to speak, or did I catch you at a bad time?" Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you you didn't even say your name, did you?
No, I don't. They don't care your name or your company. When you think about it, you don't even remember their name or company when they first call you. So that's why it's like I'm going to try to contribute as much value I can every second of my opener. Tell them about their business, what I'm reading, a challenge that I feel like they should be anticipating while pursuing this project that I read about. And more likely than not, I catch their interest and they pause and go, wait a minute, who are you with? What company, what's your name? And then I get to open it and say, I'm sorry, yeah, my name is Taylor Linton. I'm with HitachiVentara, right? And now all of a
Yeah.
sudden we opened up a conversation.
That's awesome, man. This has been a tremendous interview. I think that what we've learned from you is be very diligent about the research you do, right? You're searching for companies, Alliance Bernstein, with the keywords, big data, going in, Control F, go find your keywords, grab insights, not about the prospects, but about the companies, and leverage that in your emails, but also leverage that in your phone calls, and leverage that on LinkedIn if need be. Start bombarding them, and then gamble here and there, right? I was referred to you, like, not always
Mhm.
true, and do it carefully, right? And I think it's going to be according to every person's risk profile. Sometimes that might bite you and be a bad strategy. Sometimes it might be good, but sometimes it takes some risks to be a top performer. So, last couple of things I want to talk about as we're running out of time here is, tell me a little bit more about the tools that you leverage. Are you finding all the contact information for all these 50 people yourself? What's your process like there?
Mhm. Yeah, so we have a tool set, 4 different tools we use: Outreach, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Discover Org, and Lucia. And what a process or workflow might look like is I immediately take my account, I upload all of those contacts into our Salesforce. I will run a report on those contacts based off of title within that specific company. Now I might have a list of 80 people that, or 150 people that include data in there. I peel it back and real quick skim through, and I'm trying to weed out the ones like data analyst or data infrastructure that I don't typically talk to. And I find my 50 high-level targets. I'm also going to weed out C-level and some VP so I can reach out to them intimately. From there, I'll look in LinkedIn. I will make sure that I'm not missing any key contacts. In fact, I might try to find a specific team. If they have a customer insights team, I'll exclude those and I'll do my own specific email campaign to a customer insights team, because then I can come in even more laser focused to 10 people or so.
Right.
From there, I'm using Lucia to find cell phone numbers. It's very interesting because there's been times with VP and C-level where I go into Lucia and they have this odd looking phone that it doesn't look like it would belong to them. It might be from an area code back home from back in the day. And I call it and it'll have their direct cell. So, I mean, between those tools together and loading them in Outreach for mass emails, intimate emails, as well as calling from a local area code, it's been a very smooth process to drop everyone in and then also manage my cadences.
Awesome. Cool, man. This is great. Appreciate you sharing all these insights with us regarding all your data, how you manage it, and obviously you're one of the masters here on a very high value account. So I'm sure that anybody who's watching this has gotten a tremendous amount of value. Last thing, any way to connect with you? Should people find you on LinkedIn? Anything else?
LinkedIn's best. I have my cell and personal email in there. So if they want to text me or message me on LinkedIn to pick my brain further or just make a connection, I would love to do that.
Cool. Awesome. Anybody else who's watching this, and if you are a top performer, be it SDR or AE, I'm going to be interviewing both all over the place. So hit me up on LinkedIn at Tito Bort. And obviously here you have Taylor Linton. And yeah, we'll be in touch soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.